Hello and welcome back. This is Candace from Candoodle, and today we're going to be making this spooky interactive birthday card. This video is part of Team Tiny's Halloween hop, which I'll talk more about later in the video. So starting off, we're just going to take the Lawn Fawn reveal wheel and the circle add-on, and I'm just going to tape that in with some washi tape and run it through my die cutting machine for my front panel, and then I am going to cut the wheel part of the reveal wheel 2 times because I'm going to use one of them to make a template. I'm just putting the reveal wheel in so the guidelines aren't showing, and then I traced around that circle, and then I'm making 2 perpendicular lines with a pencil just so I can get an idea of where I want my stamped images to be. I'm going to put that behind my panel just so that that straight line is right in the center, and then I'm going to trace over top of it with a pencil, and I'm going to do that for each of the lines. And what this is going to do is act as a template so I know where to put my stamping. Lawn Fawn does sell templates, but I don't have the one for the circle add-on, so I thought that this was a good way to do that. So I'm now going to take my Fortune Teller Tabby, and this is actually the first time I'm using this stamp, and I can't believe I've waited this long to use it. It is so cute. And I am going to stamp it down with some Gina K amalgam ink because we are going to Copic color it later. And I'm also going to take my reveal wheel template that we just made and put some stamps on that. So from the party animal stamp set, I'm going to use a cake and a cupcake, or no, sorry, I'm going to use a cake and a present. And then from the Den Sweet Den, I'm going to use a book. And from the Critters at the Dog Park, I'm going to use a paw print. And then I'm going to put my good reveal wheel on top of my template so I can stamp down on that each of the little items. So this is for my friend Sarah's birthday card, so those are all of her favorite things. So I thought that that would make it more personal. I am, while we're at the stamping, going to do the sentiment. So I use the sentiment that says, "I predict your day will be," and I'm going to stamp that twice. I want the first half of the sentiment on one line and the second half on another. I am going to cut these out later, so I'm not being too careful about getting stray embossing powder anywhere. And while we're at that, I am going to take a Hello Sweetums old stamp set. Unfortunately, they're no longer around, but their stamps are super cute. And this one says Fabulous, so I'm going to stamp that down as well. Something I thought I would show on camera is sometimes I don't get the best clear white embossing when I am setting it with my heat gun. There's some like black sort of spots that show through, so I use my Uni-Bal Signo white gel pen to just go over those, and I find it makes it a lot more crisp and clean. So I'm just taking some repositionable adhesive, and I'm going to take the die cut from the circle add-on and put it right in the center of the crystal ball, and this is going to help me line up that die so it's right in the center so I don't ruin my stamping. And I'm just going to put the notch to the right, that way it doesn't get in the way, because I find I do get some little indents that I have to smooth out with my bone folder just because of the pressure of my die cut machine. But I was able to smooth those out nicely with my bone folder, and they'll be at the sides so they're going to cut off anyways. So I am going to do some Copic coloring. Like I said before, I'm not an expert. I go from lightest out to darkest and then darkest back into the lightest just to blend it out. And I did go with a gray cat because it looks like my friend Sarah's cat, and this is a birthday card, so this is made to look like her cat Ellie. So a little bit more about Team Tiny. Team Tiny is a Facebook group of crafters who are new to YouTube and still building their subscriber base. Each of us has under 1,000 followers, which means that there's no ads or commercial breaks throughout our content. So they usually do a hop every couple weeks, and this is my first ever hop with them. So I'm super excited to be involved and have their support. And it's full of a lot of really great crafters who come up with some really awesome content. And the nice thing about it is that it's a hashtag driven hop instead of linking to videos. So all you have to do is click on the hashtag in the title or my description box, and it'll take you to all of the videos that are in this hop. And so that is a little bit about Team Tiny, and I'm so happy to be involved with another group of crafty friends, which is really awesome. So I would encourage you to check out all the other videos in today's hop that are all Halloween themed. And so back to the coloring, I am trying to stick with a sort of spooky theme, which to me is for some reason purple and orangey. So those are the color schemes that I stuck with, and I am keeping that going into the reveal wheel part where I have just the little icon stamped. And something that you're going to see me do in a second is I'm taking a really light shade of blue and I'm going to color in the entire reveal wheel within the guidelines. That way it still looks white where the person's finger is going to go, where they're turning it on the outside, but the inside still matches blue and has that like kind of ethereal look like it's a crystal ball. And so now I have cut my panel, which is going to be the front of the card, and I've also cut a little piece of what is going to be the floor, and I flipped it around and cut it again. That way it would have the matching stitches. So I just kind of mapped out where the floor would be so I knew where I had to ink blend, and then I'm coming in with a blend of Distress Oxide inks. I used mustard seed, spice marmalade, festive berries, seedless preserves, dusty concord, chipped sapphire, and black soot. It's quite a few colors, so it was a bit hard to kind of keep them all there, but I think it came out looking really, really cool, and I actually really like the way that it turned out. And so then I'm just marking where my floor is going to be, and I'm going to use some post-it tape to put that on the back panel, so my back panel matches my front one, just so it's not sitting on top of white. So I am going to use black soot to do the floor piece, and then I'm going to reposition my post-it tape and do the quote-unquote sky with similar colors that I used for the front panel. And my camera did die at that point, so sorry that I'm missing some of the footage there, but I just used the same colors I was using before for the front panel. And then I'm also going to do some ink blending on the floor piece, so I used ground espresso and black soot for that. And then I'm coming in with my distress sprayer just to add a little bit of interest to that. So I just used water on the floor, and then for the sky pieces I come in with my sparkle shimmer spritz, and it is very, very sparkly and pretty. So I used that on the sky pieces as well as my front panel. And then I'm coming in with some double-sided tape, and I am just sticking the back panel down to a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, and then I am adhering the floor to my front panel. I'm just getting an idea of where everything is going to get laid out, and then I am going to glue down my fortune teller right over where the reveal wheel is going to be. And now I'm going to assemble my reveal wheel, just like any other Lawn Fawn reveal wheel. So you put the brad through with the back piece, and then I'm going to stick down the foam tape. So I was just checking to make sure everything was going to look good, and I'm glad I did because I noticed the prongs were showing through the crystal ball. So what I did was I took the brad out and I just threaded it through the other way. And I made sure to put the prongs kind of in between the double-sided tape so it wouldn't affect the mechanism of how it spins. And here I'm just using my template reveal wheel. I usually put adhesive, my foam tape on the front panel before I position it on the card, but I didn't this time, so I didn't want to get in the way of the reveal wheel mechanism, so I just used that as a template so I wouldn't put foam tape in the wrong spaces. And then I stuck that down and everything was working well. I decided I wanted to add some more emphasis to the boo in the Fabulous day. So I am getting my Altenew Simple Alphas, and I'm just testing to make sure they're a good size, and that is what I ended up going with. And so I use the same colors of the Distress Oxide inks again, just to blend on a piece of paper, which I'm going to cut BOO out of. And I was blending on each side. I guess I didn't realize how small the letters were going to be. I really should have just blended from dark out to light, which I realized at one point. So when I did cut the letters, I just went back in and really put more of the dark towards the bottom and the light towards the top to give it more emphasis. And I definitely could have used my waffle flower medium mat so my letters weren't jumping all over my desk, but hindsight is 20/20. I also cut out 2 additional letters for each of the die cuts so I could stack them so it would have a little bit more dimension. At this point, I was still playing around with the layout. I couldn't decide if I wanted a witch hat on there or a pumpkin, but I ended up deciding to go just with the ghosts and the sentiment strips, which I cut down using my guillotine trimmer off screen. When I assembled this, I did go from the inside to the outside so I can make sure to keep everything centered. I especially like to do that when I'm gluing down multiple letters, just to make sure that I don't start from the left and then end up falling off the card at the end. I'm just finishing off by adding the arrow from the Lawn Fawn Reveal Wheel die set, and I'm just going to add some finishing touches, which are these pretty pink Posh rose gold jewels. And then I'm going to come in with my Spectrum Noir shimmer pen just to go over those boo letters. That way they are shiny and glittery. And that is the final card. I really love interactive cards, and I think this Halloween themed one is so fun. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video. I do encourage you to check out the rest of the hop along with Team Tiny. I really appreciate the time that you spend here with me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And leave me a comment down below what you'd like to see in future videos. I will see you in next week's video.